A sudden break, a wheel coming loose, or just a glance delayed by a few seconds. All of these can be the starting point of a situation no one wants. In everyday life, danger rarely gives a warning. It usually comes very fast, right when people think everything is still normal. From the first rumble to the moment dust swallowed the entire area, the landslide in West Java happened fast and heavily, like a clear reminder of nature's harshness. The truck tire left its familiar position in a way no one wanted, turning the road behind it into a risky moment of pure luck and avoidance. A small mistake with the securing rope caused the entire vehicle to lift up with the elevator, reminding us that checking carefully is always worth more than a few rushed seconds. The train passed through the pile of snow and threw everything into the air, creating a soft white scene like a vivid winter painting in real life. The girl only intended to take one item, but the shelf seemed to decide to include the whole store, causing everything to fall down in a few chaotic seconds. Accidents sometimes begin with a very small movement of the steering wheel, and the moment the car rushed straight into the resting area shows that controlling the steering is always more important than speed. No one thought the kitchen could suddenly open to the sky in such an unexpected way when the gas cylinder exploded and left a memorable hole in the roof. At the construction site, even a small detail like a cable problem can create a major risk, and safe distance is sometimes the very thing that saves lives. Do you think the boat flipped over after that hit?
The amount of rain.
He only intended to step outside for a moment, but the flash of lightning was a very clear reminder from the sky that today was best spent staying indoors.
Holy gee, man! Okay, we're not leaving now, but that tree's gonna...
No one scheduled a visit, but the two cars still pulled off an unexpected drift right into the yard, something the homeowner definitely won't forget. If it were your construction project, would you choose to break the rocks or find a way to dig around them? That windshield received a much too strong greeting from the truck coming the opposite way, leaving a mark that made everyone look twice.
เฮ้ยอะไรวะ
นี่
เดี๋ยวกลับเดินตาม
The meal was going peacefully when the mini gas canister decided to become the main character, making all 4 men stand up faster than when the food was ordered. No need to sign up for a self-defense class, just one car driving the wrong way was enough for the man to automatically take the perfect defensive stance right in the middle of the restaurant. The road is not only a place to drive across, but also a place where every small detail can create major danger. And this manhole cover is very clear proof of that. The apartment's staircase suddenly became a psychological battle arena when a woman and a mouse unexpectedly met face to face, and clearly neither of them was ready for that meeting. The cow suddenly broke loose and charged straight toward the man, turning a few normal steps into an unplanned full-speed sprint. The floodwater does not stop to wait for anyone, and the house collapsing in the middle of that rushing current is a reminder that nature is always stronger than we imagine. Have you ever seen excavators work together this smoothly in real life?
开始塌了，又塌了啊！来，已经塌方了啊！
The cliff by the coast suddenly collapsed, rocks crashing down right in front of everyone, leaving tourists with only enough time to turn and run. Nature sometimes changes faster than a blink.
疯狂的这些他们回过去了啊，他们去找意思。
Small bridges sometimes cannot handle weight beyond their limit, and this collapse shows that overload is not just a number, but a very real danger. The truck was working normally when the whole hill seemed to decide to send extra cargo as a giant boulder suddenly rolled straight down. In a short time, the water had already risen and cut across the path, but the camels kept walking steadily through the flood, showing that adaptation can sometimes be stronger than panic.
사람들이 걷고 있어. 아까. 가봤다.
The flood rushed through without slowing down at all, crushing the bridge and making it disappear into the muddy water like a reminder that nature never needs permission to take everything away. The black bear mother seemed to gather her entire tiny support team for the most important mission of the day, a determined and highly professional trash can raid. Visitors came to see the hippo, but the hippo chose to make sure everyone remembered him much longer than expected with a very decisive territory confirmation.
Look, guys, he's right there. Oh, he's peeing. Back up, Joe. Oh, God. Okay. Maybe they should have that farther away. Why do they have him that close if he can do... Okay, it's a muck splatter zone.
Chicago seemed to receive too much attention from the sky that day when 3 lightning strikes at the same time chose the tallest buildings for a dramatic visit. The storm in Sydney was so strong that even the chair on the balcony decided to leave home blown away in seconds, as if it had its own plans.
Aaron? Oh. Aaron?
The guests had not even been ordered yet, but the outdoor tables and chairs chose to leave their positions first when the storm winds blew through with impossible to ignore force. Once the railroad signals are active, it is no longer just a warning but a required safety limit, and this collision showed that a few rush seconds can come with a very heavy price. Just one decision to cross the barrier turned the SUV into the center of a breathless moment where the safety of all 4 people was separated by only a few fragile seconds. The peaceful space was suddenly torn apart when the car crashed into the shop, and just a few seconds of clear thinking kept the child out of danger. Sometimes quick reflexes make all the difference. When speed goes beyond the ability to control even a familiar road, can become the place for unbelievable accidents, and this sudden lift was the clearest proof. From above, the elk herd ran across the mountains of Larimer County like a living flow of nature, powerful, free, and full of charm. In Duncan, South Carolina, the violent hailstorm poured down like thousands of ice stones from the sky, turning the familiar view into a white scene full of pressure. People usually look for baseballs in stadiums. But that day near Buffalo Lake, they came from the sky in a way that made everyone want to run fast.
I see the people, Josh.
Along the highway, controlled blasting made the entire cliffside shake, opening a path through terrain that once seemed impossible to reach. No one expected a commercial building to have such a terrifying open roof to the sky, moment when the fire had already taken over every space inside. One small, forgotten action led to a major fire, and people running away in panic, showing that at a gas station, a few seconds of attention can matter much more than expected.
Wow! Whee!
From a normal trip to a hard crash into a tree in just a few seconds, enough to remind us that focus while driving is always worth more than any rush. Sudden braking on a main road always needs a clear signal, because just 1 second of inattention from the car behind is enough to cause a serious collision. In northern Nepal, the earthquake shook the entire mountainside, pulling huge rocks down like a violent wave of stone from nature. Not only did the ground shake, but the whole hillside also collapsed in an instant, turning the area near the hospital into a scene covered in white dust and worry.
We ran out of masks. We distributed everything. Wait.
Just watching each huge wave crash hard against the pier was enough to understand how frighteningly strong Hurricane Nicole was getting. As tropical storm Elsa moved closer to Florida, 2 people on the pier received a powerful greeting from a huge wave soaked completely in just a few seconds. No one came to the badminton court to practice escape drills, but that earthquake made everyone leave the court faster than any rally ever could. The once quiet street was suddenly torn apart by the moment the plane crashed down, leaving a heavy silence after a few unforgettable seconds of chaos. Just one small mistake during landing can create huge friction on the runway, and those sparks were the clearest sign of that high-pressure moment.
Me muero, me muero, me muero.
What would you say to people who still think they can cross before the train arrives? A railroad crossing is not a place to judge by the naked eye because a train can arrive faster than expected, and this few seconds of carelessness almost costs much more than safety. On the bridge connecting two states, the truck lost control, sped up, and overtook recklessly in a narrow space, creating a swaying moment that showed on a bridge speed and distance must always be kept stable. The truck was moving too fast and could not adjust when the vehicle ahead turned, sliding off its path and crashing into the curb, where sometimes speed needs to slow down to keep everything under control. In the middle of ordinary nature, the appearance of a snake with small horns in the sea of sand that seemed lifeless. The dense movement of the fish made the whole space feel surreal, like a movie scene that did not belong to real life. In the quiet space of a snowy night, one step out of rhythm was enough to turn a normal working moment into a situation both unexpected and hard to handle. One small action to make sure nothing was forgotten led to an unexpected situation, as if the road also wanted to take part in the story. He stepped onto the icy road with a very clear goal, but the surface decided to give him a little challenge, causing an unexpected slip before he got up and finished the task like nothing happened. The retaining wall in Handleba seemed to lose its support in just a few seconds as rocks and soil poured down, creating a moment that left the entire construction site standing still in shock. In Rapid City, the road suddenly collapsed and formed a huge sinkhole right in the middle of the street, turning a familiar road into a shocking empty space. roof that day seemed overloaded by a giant winter blanket, and the snow removal looked like the whole house had just breathed a sigh of relief.
Holy.
No need to check the weather forecast, just seeing the roads in Buffalo disappear under thick snow was enough to understand how severe that storm was. The lights that were once so calm now swayed on the ceiling, reflecting the shaking of the ground and making the whole space feel more fragile than ever.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
The bulldozer had just passed by when the tire suddenly exploded, the pressure so strong that the parked vehicle next to it was completely destroyed in an instant.
If we die, it was damn well worth it. It's a Titanic moment.
In cold waters, icebergs are always a major challenge for ships, and Carnival's collision showed that even a small distance can create a very big situation.
Oh, we are hitting it.
Damn.
In the rushing floodwaters of Chapmansboro, Tennessee, a boat swept away by the current crashed straight into the bridge, creating a moment both violent and helpless against the power of the water. Every tiny, hurried step avoiding the waves made the beach feel strangely alive, as if nature was telling a very gentle and adorable story on its own. And when everything settles down, what remains is not only the traces of the incident, but also a very clear feeling of how fragile life around us really is. If you feel that too, don't forget to like, share your thoughts, and subscribe to join us for the next moments.